Hello and welcome to Roots and Skin. Today we're going to be talking about what I know a lot of you will want to know, which is what do I need? What's the kit? What's the minimum viable kit to safely go stealth hammocking? Forget the stealth bit. We'll come back to that in a little while. But what do we actually need? What do we need in a bag to go and do this tomorrow? How much is it going to cost? How big is it? So let's just get straight into that. The minimum stuff you are going to need to go stay in a hammock overnight in the woods tonight or any night is a hammock, hammock straps, a spare bit of string, a sleeping bag, and an insulation mat. Could be an inflatable one, maybe not. Let's pop that there. A toothbrush, weather appropriate clothing, some kind of bag to put it all in, some water, a first aid kit. Doesn't need to be anything fancy, just a few medications, a couple of plasters, some food, a torch, and a bag to put your rubbish in. Honestly, that isn't the food I should have chucked on there. Let's have a look. I'll just grab out something more appropriate. For food, starting out, I would recommend something that you've pre-cooked yourself. It doesn't have to be eaten hot, and then you don't need something to heat it with. And that's it. That's your minimum kit. So, hold on a second while I put all that in the bag. And done. The absolute minimum in a bag, definitely under 2 minutes, probably about a minute and a half. It looks a bit like I might be going camping, so we'll come back to that in a second, the sort of stealth bit. But in terms of additional things that you might want to take that would make your night in the wild a little bit more comfortable, here we go. I would potentially suggest bringing a ridgeline, a tarp, some snacks of some kind, a banana, a beer, a power bank, and a little bag like this, something like this, just to stuff in to make yourself a little pillow. Sounds like our motocross friends are back. I think you can see that that's all easily going to fit in the same bag, right? So that's it. We'll get into other kit, other stuff that I've got, different setups in a short while. But what I wanted to talk about first was the whole stealth thing, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm happy if you want to call this stealth camping, it's up to you, right? It's totally up to you what you want to call stuff. But to me, like the stuff that Steve Wallace is doing and people like that, when you go and you take you take the minimum gear and you stay on a roundabout in a busy road or by the drive-through behind your local 24-hour fast food place where the cops are going to get their coffee, that's kind of stealth camping when there's other people around, right? When there's other people around at night. For me, what I would think of this as is free camping. There might be regulations saying I shouldn't be here. Back to where I am, there really isn't. It's a bit of a grey area. I'm supposed to ask the local government if I want to stay somewhere more than 2 days, as long as it's not a protected area. Then in this region I'm good to go. But do check where you're going to go, and that's the other thing that you need. right? This is what you take with you, but where you're going to go is really important as well. But the point I'm trying to make is that this I would call free camping. Yeah, I would definitely 100% say to you, do not do this in any scientific interest areas. In the UK, they're called sites of scientific interest. They're called something similar in Europe. I'm sure they have them in the US as well. I'm out here to enjoy nature, and I don't want to damage it in any way. That's why I'm not going to have a fire, right? Because I'm in a wooded area. The fire can spread underground. Even though I know how to build a fire safely, I'm just not going to do it. It's I don't need it. I've got the little gas burner, or I can just bring pre-cooked food. For the same reason, I would never go to an SI, site of scientific interest, things like that, because that means that there's something there, an organism, an animal or a plant or whatever it might be, an insect that is fighting to hold on in that place. Yeah, and it's protected. So that's where I wouldn't go. But otherwise, I'll go wherever, really, honestly. There are national parks that have different rules, and regional parks that have different rules, and protected areas of different kind of statuses. And what I'm talking about is going where, whether you're allowed to be there or you're not meant to be there, but where you're not going to hurt anything, not damage an ecosystem. Your behavior there is not going to damage anything, and it's leave no trace, right? So once I'm done here, you won't be able to tell I was ever here. That's another reason not to light a fire, right? But all my rubbish will go in the rubbish bag, and I'm going to pack it out with me, and I'm gone. The bit that's kind of stealth-ish is that you need to find a spot where passers-by aren't going to walk and see you. Yeah, especially if you're out somewhere beautiful. In England, if you're in a nice wood somewhere, there's going to be a lot of dog walkers. There's dog walkers here, mountain bikers, the motocross guys you just heard. There's sort of an elderly woman like doing fitness training up the hill with her priest earlier, right? So there's people up here in the mountains, and I don't want to cause them any stress or problems by them thinking, oh, there's someone camping there. Are they like, are they a problem? Should they be doing that? Maybe wondering whether they should come and have a conversation with me. But also, I don't want anybody coming and bothering me, right? I'm here to be alone in nature. And if you go with friends, and like right now, I'm talking openly, there's a path just behind me, path just in front of me, but there's plenty of people around, my camp, some of the stuff is camo, some of it isn't, right? Look at this. I'm wearing a bright white t-shirt. I was wearing red trousers earlier. So it's not like super stealth, everything must be camo, because there's tons of people around. If you can get somewhere further away from people, you'll see more nature. But what you need to do is get in there without people really understanding and seeing that you're going out there to camp. I think that's the important bit. And so for me, what I would really do with this kit here is I would take a tarp ridgeline that isn't bright red, and I would use the tarp to cover up this camping mat. Whatever I could do to cover up that camping mat, frankly, because it just sort of shouts, I'm going to go sleep somewhere, doesn't it? So that's what I would do. But with that and with this kit, you go out, you can have a comfortable night. And I'll make another video that will go into more detail on how you'd set stuff up. For those of you who don't know, I think there's quite a lot of people out there who've probably watched quite a lot of videos about how you do this, but yet to go out there and do it. So what I really want you to take away from this video is that you've got most of the things in that bag. You've got them. You've got them in your house. Your neighbour's got them in their house. If you are missing anything, it's probably the tarp. And this you only need if it's going to rain, right? If it's going to rain, or if there's going to be a heavy dew, then you put the tarp up over your hammock. So your hammock's hanging like here, right? And the tarp's on the straight ridge line above, and it's coming down either side in a diamond formation to keep you dry. So it's like covering you like that on both sides of the hammock, yeah? And keep the wind and dry off you. But if you're going out on a nice dry evening with low winds to somewhere that you're familiar with, and you can find a spot that's away from people, you don't need the tarp. The other thing you probably won't have is a hammock, right? And that's why I'm also going to do a video about this, but the one that I'm hanging the phone from with a bit of string to record this video was £14. The other one that I've got here that I put in this bag was £14. So this bit of string, by comparison, is £10, because it's like fancy string you'd use to fly fancy kites, and it's very, very super strong and all of that, but you don't need it. You don't need that string, you just need a string, not kitchen garden twine, something a little bit better than that. So you know, washing line would do. So you've got almost all the stuff. You need a tarp if it's going to be wet, or if you want the extra privacy, especially if you're lying in your hammock on your phone, it's creating light, so the tarp covers that. And you're going to need the hammock itself. And other than that, you've got this stuff. That's my point. All you need to do is order a hammock and a tarp, and you could be on your way. You could be going hammock camping, free camping this weekend out in nature. If, and I think this might be a few people out there, certainly people I know, if part of the reason that you haven't done it yet is not because you don't know what gear you need, and you're worried about how much it's all going to cost, and lugging heavy kit around and getting caught. I've done this for a while now. I'm actually living out here at the moment in Spain. And I go and spend a couple of nights on a campsite now and then to use the laundry and the Wi-Fi, basically. But, you know, that's a different thing, and I'll show you what kit I've got for that. But the point being that I haven't been caught yet. Nobody's come and even said to me, what are you doing? I've done this in multiple different places all around the Dorset area in the UK, and it's not allowed there. People have walked by. I've done it right next to big dog walking past. I went to one place and there were 5 or 6 other people looking for a spot to set up with big rucksacks. You know, you don't need all that kit, you only need this kit, right? But the point being that even when people have known I'm there and I'm doing it, and I'm sure I've been seen a lot more times than I realise, then nobody's taken an issue with it in 2 countries on a lot of outings. So if that's one thing that's holding you back, then don't worry. If you are doing this in the UK or in Europe, then I think about the worst that could happen is the landowner could come and speak to you and ask you to move on. Somebody who isn't the landowner could come and speak to you. You don't know who they are. They're a bit irate. You move on. Or they could get the police involved, who all they can do is ask you to move on, right? So it wouldn't be nice. You don't want that outcome, but it's not like you're going to have life-changing consequences, big expenses, a night in jail, let alone go to prison or anything, right? So there's a lot of beautiful nature out here. A lot of it now is protected because there's, you know, very good reasons for that. It's all declining. There's more to see today than there will be tomorrow, and that's going to be true for all of us for the rest of our lives. But that's why you want to get out here and get in it and do it in a really considerate, careful way. The hammock doesn't leave any footprint. It's not trampling anything on the ground. I am, but the hammock isn't. I'm bringing the minimum gear. I'm taking all the rubbish with me. I also take any rubbish that I find, even in the wildest places. There's empty cigarette packets, empty cans, all kinds of things. So it's having almost no impact on nature, and you know, I'm getting to see it at its best, and that's what this is really all about. So for those of you concerned about legalities or getting in trouble, one, I think that's unlikely, really unlikely, especially if you keep the lights to a minimum and you choose a spot where you're not near an urban area or a house or other people, basically, because after dark there's no one here but me. And the final thing is, I think there are people who are like, yeah, I'd like to do it, but I don't want to do it on my own. And I totally get that. As you can hear, I'm talking loudly here. You could totally be talking to a mate here, and I don't think anyone's going to care. It is a bit daunting doing it for the first time. It's a bit like riding a bike. After a while it just clicks, and then you're good. You're all over it, right? You got it. But it takes a bit of courage to do that first time. And for those of you who are thinking, yeah, I'd like to do it, but I wouldn't do it on my own, I'm actually planning on making a video for you to send to your mates and say, look, guys, this is something that I want to do, and are any of you interested? Would any of you come with me? And then you just need to buy 2 hammocks, right? Instead of €14, £14, $14, it's 28. That's not too bad. A couple of tarps, they're pretty cheap as well. 10 to 14 will get you one that will work. Some hammocks come with the tarp, and I'll be doing a side-by-side comparison of 2 hammocks shortly, so watch out on the channel for that. But that's all to say, you know, what's stopping you guys? Here we are, it's beautiful out here in nature. This is all you need, right? This is all you need. And I'll do a quick cut and finish with this looking a little bit less like I might be going camping in the woods. But it really is that simple and that cheap and that accessible, and it really is that beautiful. So please consider it. If you've liked the video, if you think it's been good, if you think it hasn't wasted your time, then please do give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like the things I've mentioned, and if you're still here at the end, give it a thumbs up. If you're not liking the video at any point, you know, then obviously thanks for coming by, but please do leave a comment to let me know why and what I can do to improve. Thank you so much, and see you in